Gordon Smart.
Radio X.
Now, I'm very excited to tell you that we have got Legs Akimbo in the studio for a game of Slippery Jack, a bit of Go Johnny Go Go Go, the Canadian rules, BAFTA winning, RTS winning, and the Golden Rose of Montreux winning League of Gentlemen. Jeremy, Reece, Steve, Mark, lovely to see you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for remembering those awards.
Did you remember them?
Yeah.
Very well. Mark, last time I saw you gave me a I think I pronounced your name wrongly, but I couldn't remember which way around it was. So I just stuck to the first names.
Clever.
Go for it.
Gatiss.
No!
He was saying that was the wrong way to
I was
say
told downstairs.
By whom? Who are these people?
Moggy, wasn't he said it's Gatiss? I went, no, it's Gatiss.
Think gay, I always do.
Well, anyway, we are here, and the lads are here to celebrate the launch of a DVD just before Christmas. Well timed, lads.
It's amazing, isn't it?
How did that happen?
I don't know.
How did that happen? So, lads, you are off selling this DVD at the moment. So, have you spent a bit of time together getting your heads around how you're going to sell this? Who's the best at giving it the big sell? Come on, Steve. Take your turn, Steve. Let's get the hard work done.
Actually, you say we've been, selling the DVD. We've actually just finished doing the show because we only finished doing the tour at the end of September. Yeah. If I'm
correct,
that's right, September 29th.
So it's been rushed out for Christmas, and we had a brilliant time all over the country. We did 47 dates, arenas, theatres, and it was the first live show we've ever done in 12 years.
Wow.
And I think the consensus was amongst the fans it's the best live show we've done.
We've had a brilliant time going back. We did these 3 specials last year, and we agreed when we talked about doing those that we'd do some live dates to coincide because we started live. We always enjoyed doing it, and it's been brilliant sort of reconnecting with our audience who've all got as old as we have. And we had a fantastic laugh. We really did. It was great.
What's the touring life like for the 4 of you? Are you well behaved? Do you clip your wings and are you incredibly professional? Or is it just a chance to be away from home?
Very boring.
Anodyne.
Really?
There's
lots of tea shops.
There is. It's like legend, isn't it? Our first tours, our rider was ginger beer and jelly beans. Usually Pringles, that's about it.
I thought that was code for something, but it was actually ginger beer and jelly beans.
Yeah.
We're always in bed.
I think that they are used to people requiring certain things that we didn't even understand. It was like, and if you want anything, the tour manager said, if you want anything else, you can set up a private WhatsApp group and you can talk to me personally. So what are you talking about? I just want some crisps.
And it was hard enough to get the crisps.
I know.
And the taxis.
It sounds like crisps. It's the glue that holds this.
There's a lot of crisps.
Yeah.
Particularly now, we're gentlemen of a certain age where crisps are a guilty pleasure.
Oh, yes.
It's not like when you're in your 20s and
You've got to be careful of the full English breakfast. Yes. Which is always on offer.
Hotels.
On tour.
You can't have it these days.
Oh, you have to have it. I think it's Gary Barlow said that you can judge any hotel in the world by the quality of its club sandwich.
Oh,
Right.
gosh. Yes.
We were lucky to get sandwiches in some of them.
The glamour.
One time
That's
Mark
another
ordered
story.
very late on, about 9:30, some food in one of the places we were in, and he asked for gnocchi, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, it was very
And
So
it was
North
a long
London.
time coming, really late, about 45 minutes, ridiculous. And then it finally came, and it was the sauce, but no gnocchi in it. And he was sort of peering through it with his fork, and he said, "There's no gnocchi, shall I say something?" We never were going to say anything. I said, "Yeah, tell him." And then the man came back, and he said, "There was a problem." He said, "I ordered gnocchi. There's no gnocchi. And you want me to find some, do you?"
strange.
And he came back and said, "Is that all right for you now?" With the gnocchi.
Quite short.
And is that all right for you now, is it? Like he'd really demanded something really
We were imagining he was rushing back the kitchen going, "What's gnocchi?"
I don't know, what does he mean?
Radio X.
The Radio X Evening Show with Gordon Smart.
That was Circle Waves on Radio X. I'm Gordon Smart with the evening show. And that song is called League of Gentlemen. We're here, okay, Cokey Gentlemen. Now, I've got to see, when you go back 22 years, what was the thing that you wrote that you didn't expect to be successful but was? I think that's what I'm trying to ask. Was there one thing that has become incredibly popular that took you by surprise?
I think probably going back to the second series, we introduced this character of Papa Lazarou, and he was only in one episode, and he came and went, really, didn't he? And we were really surprised at how he took off, and how that catchphrase, "Hello Dave," that was being echoed around the country. It was only in one ep. Yeah. So I think that has to go down.
But it was that's that lovely thing, isn't it? It's such a ridiculously private joke, and the idea of everyone getting that.
Yeah. Who wrote it? Who actually wrote it? Was it Reece?
Yeah. But it was a real thing.
It was an amalgam of lots of real incidents that are sort of snapped together to make this creature.
Where's the most unusual place somebody has recited it to you? Because I think it's about once a week I say to my wife, "You're my wife now, Dave."
Yeah, I get it. I've had it in like urinals.
Yes.
That's the worst, you know.
Yeah.
You think, I don't. Not now.
Actually,
Not over the top of the cubicle. Not now, Dad.
this is probably a sensible place to ask for your help. Actually, I'm writing a book at the moment based on a terrible pun called Slash Gordon, and it was inspired by awkward conversations in the bathroom with famous people. Because you kind of have to say something, because it can be quite awkward in the bathroom. So it was inspired by a conversation with Sean Connery, my hero, and I just felt like I had to say something to him. So I said, "It's a real pleasure to meet you, Sean," and he just looked at me and said, "Now's not really the time, is it, Sean?" And I was thrilled. That was good enough for me. Would you please give me an entry to the book with your Slash Gordon entry?
Jack Straw.
Home Secretary.
I urinated next to at a Blackburn Rovers match once. He's a big fan, so am I. And we commented on the score. I can't remember what the game was now, but that was quite impressive.
That's great. That's home. So that's, I think, one of the few politicians we've had. We've had John Major, so I can add him next to Jack Straw. It's good.
I'm pondering.
Look at Jeremy's lost in a world of
urinals. I always go in a cubicle,
Like
so
a
I'm never next to someone
Right.
because I have to sit down to urinate.
Of course you do.
If there was someone next to you, it would be quite an issue, wouldn't it?
It would be. They'd be tight against me.
Andy Nine has a photo of me in a Canadian urinal, which is one of
They're
his,
going to say in a kimono.
it's one of his cherished possessions.
In a
Because
Canadian-
I'm stood next to an elderly Japanese gentleman, and for some reason he thought it was the funniest
Why was
thing
he
he'd ever
taking
seen.
pictures?
He's a picture of it.
Could get arrested for that.
It's illegal to do that. Actually. I have to thank you actually for the opening of the DVD where you have a newsstand billboard with Chris Morrell's Bad Breath.
Yeah.
Who's responsible?
Well,
it
that's
was
a long story.
An updated running gag of 20 years because we had Ed Stewart's breath in the original series, so we thought, who would be...
It's very, very
who'd be right to
complicated.
have it
I think
now?
it's all on YouTube now, but there was this amazing documentary years ago which we were all obsessed with called I'm Your Number One Fan, with a lot of crazy fans on, but the particular one, this woman called Blue Tulip Rose Reed, who was obsessed with Mike Reed.
Wow.
And she'd come down to Classic FM where he worked, and she says, suddenly there he is, Miss Mike Reed, oh my heartthrob. And Mike Reed has beautiful breath. Ed Stewart's breath stinks. And we just put it on the billboards in Royston Vasey.
It's one of my favourite things about League of Gentlemen was the little subtle jokes like that. One thing that makes me laugh again about once a week is the Gentleman's Art pamphlet, the Rude magazine, that just had dogs' arses on it. With the little asterisks on the dog's bottom.
Yeah.
Still makes me laugh.
Well, it's got to be classy, hasn't it?
The Radio X Evening Show with Gordon Smart.
Radio X.
League of Gentlemen are here at the moment. Oh, looking thrilled to be here.
Yay!
That's what we needed. That's what we needed. Lads, can I ask you, never mind about these amazing sellout tours that you've done in the 42 dates recently, what's the worst gig the League of Gentlemen have ever performed?
I think early days when we were doing sketches alongside stand-up, so a stand-up can communicate very well with an audience, and then we come on shuffling chairs and trying to get the microphones down to our level.
Yeah.
And
We were telling that story earlier today about that one in King's Cross.
in the King's Cross pub, the Water Rats pub, and the
Great venue, the Water
MC,
Rats, isn't it?
Yeah, the MC came on at the end and said, "Well, I told you they were intellectual," because it played to absolute tumbleweed.
Silence, and it was Mau Mau. It was the Mau Mau gag, that sketch when Jeff's telling the Mau Mau. And it was, there's nothing wrong with it in context, but when you just sort of at the end of a room and everyone's talking.
That's when we realised that we needed to have a proper night of our own. You couldn't do it like that because it just didn't
we were always the weakest thing on a bill of other stand-ups because they were talking to the audience when we were doing our little
My
sketches.
abiding memory though is because we were all sitting down and the mics were on stands and they just started to sag.
They were bending,
As we were doing it, Steve was just kicking it with his foot to try and get it up
push it back up.
Oh God!
Has there been a brilliant heckle or a terrible heckle that you can remember?
Well, the day of the performance, after we won the Perrier, we were in the first sketch, and Ronnie Corbett was in the audience. We were thrilled, and a man got up out of his seat and walked across. You had to walk across the stage to get out, and just said "tripe." and left in the door.
Brilliantly, we were in the middle of the sketch and
Slammed
Steve
behind
just
him.
flicked the visa to that. Completely.
I have no comeback other than just an animal reaction.
Fingers up to him.
Are you all right to stick around a little bit longer, gentlemen?
Yes.
Of course we are.
Excellent. More from Mark, Steve, Reece and Jeremy in just a second. League of Gentlemen after this.
X.
The Radio X Evening Show with Gordon Smart.
The League of Gentlemen are here. I'm thrilled about that because you've actually, being serious for a second, helped me through a really dark moment in my life. I was editing a newspaper in Scotland during the horrible independence referendum, and we would often put on the League of Gentlemen to cheer ourselves up on the back bench in the nights
That's
of
how bad it was.
absolute misery. And one of our favourites was Psychoville as well, the Tina Turner sketch we'd often...
good, yeah.
Yeah, when things were really bad, that's what we did. So thank you very much for that.
Very welcome.
Can I ask you for a Spinal Tap story? I'd imagine there are moments where you could get carried away with the production in League of Gentlemen. You know, if you've got a wife mine with Papa Lazarou and you're creating the series, and then there's a decision to make about how much that idea is going to cost. Has management, or have you had a conversation where you've said, that's ridiculous, that's gone far too Spinal Tap?
I mean, that was... We wrote that at the end. It was suddenly like, can we even achieve a wife mine? What is a wife mine? And then they went out of their way to try to, you know, make it look as we did, and Bendelak did a good job filming it. But I don't think there's anything... I mean, we are careful in what we write, and you probably shouldn't be. You shouldn't curtail your vision when you're writing it, but because we've been doing it 20 years, you know what it's like when you say, we'll be driving along in a car and we'll have a conversation. Like, no, you won't. Yeah. Instantly, that's too expensive to drive along in a car, so we'd be pulled up in a lay-by having a conversation. Yes, we can do that.
Do we need two people?
Yeah,
Is that a monologue? Could it just be in his head?
They did balk at the idea of getting a gorilla with Mr. Chinnery and taking a seed sample from the gorilla. They did balk at the expense of trying to do that.
They didn't want to do that, did they?
They had some kidnapped characters who'd been kidnapped by Papa Lazarou, and they were all inside an elephant. And that really is something we strive to actually show it. We actually went inside an elephant with
Well,
all these
that was
characters.
born out of that brilliant joke about the man that gets the job in the zoo and as a bear or something, and he falls into the... And he agrees to do it reluctantly, and he falls into the lion pen and is screaming to get out, and then the lion comes running up and says, "Shut up, you want to get his whole sack." Everyone is actual human stress.
Everybody.
The DVD is out right now. I should do some more work-related stuff here. It was filmed at Hammersmith Apollo. It's about an hour and 45 minutes long as well. It was brilliantly done, though. I was so impressed by it, you know. Make sure you buy the DVD for somebody in your life this Christmas. It's absolutely outstanding. Thank you very much. Great to see you, Mark.
Thanks for having
Good to see
us.
Steve, Reece, Jeremy, lovely men, absolutely brilliant stuff. Can I just ask one last thing before you go, Reece? Would you give me a little bit of Eni Kamosi Hot Stepper from Carshare before you go?
Yeah, he come downstairs, but a little dance flap.
That's just a little personal thing I wanted to do. Thank you very much, League of Gentlemen.
The Radio X Evening Show with Gordon Smart.
Radio X.
That was the Evening Show podcast, and I've just been corrected on Joe Lysett 30, Jess.
30, he was born 1988.
I'd ID him every time. Wouldn't you? In fact, I'd ID both of you as well, actually. Now, okay. Thank you very much for listening. If you're feeling generous, please leave a review, tell all of your friends, and we'll be back with another one next week.
Radio X.